How good of a Lemol Elixir clone is Rayhaan Elixir? Well, let's find out that today. Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content, and today it's the turn of Rayhaan Elixir to get reviewed. Now I've said this many times before over the past year or so, but for me one of the best designer releases last year, or probably the best designer release of last year, was Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir. And currently, to this day, it remains one of my most favorite designer fragrances that I have in my collection. It was a great release from the brand of Jean-Paul Gaultier. It's a very sexy, very modern, very long-lasting scent that smells absolutely fantastic. But to this day, it remains very hard to find Le Male Elixir at discounters, and its original price, it's a very expensive scent. So the great thing is that more and more, Le Male Elixir clones are hitting the markets. I already reviewed one of the latest Le Male Elixir clones from Lattafa called Lattafa the Kingdom, and today it's the turn of Rayhaan Elixir. Now, Rayhaan Elixir was actually released before Lattafa the Kingdom, but today, I got my hands on a bottle of Elixir after I got the Lattafa one. So today I'm going to review Rayhaan Elixir. The box design of Rayhaan's Elixir is pretty similar to what you get with the other Rayhaan releases, although this one looks a little bit different. To get this again dual colored finish, mainly golden colors with some black accents as well. The important parts about this fragrance: bottle size is 100 milliliters and the concentration is EDP. This is the bottle design of Rayhaan Elixir, again pretty similar to the other fragrances from the same brand, although this is having the addition of this golden part that sits on top of the actual bottle. But if you look close enough, you'll see that you can actually check out the juice. The cap is plastic, it's a snug fit, and all around it's a flashy looking bottle. Now let's talk about the more important stuff, meaning the actual scent of Rayhaan Elixir, how it smells, how it performs, how close it is to the original fragrance. I'm going to respray this one because I'm already wearing it today on my left arm. The spray is good, actually quite good. Well, pretty much every Rayhaan fragrance that I've tried has had a pretty decent atomizer. And now onto the scent itself. This opens up very spicy, slightly fresh, slightly minty. I pick up a very strong cardamom note out of this fragrance in the opening. You get a hint of citrusy freshness. There's a bergamot note, there's a strong mint note in the opening, and you also immediately get quite a lot of the vanilla sweetness that this fragrance has. There's a bit of an aromatic touch as well, thanks to a lavender note. But for me, the dominant notes in the opening of this fragrance are the cardamom, the mint, and the vanillic sweetness. When this goes into the dry down, the fragrance itself becomes a little bit sweeter. The vanillic sweetness is ramped up on the dry down. You get some added sweetness from a tonka bean note, which also adds a bit of powderness. There's a hint of tobacco as well on the dry down of this one. And also, to my nose, this smells like a little bit earthy. Maybe there's something like an earthy type of vetiver note that's been used on its dry down. All around, it's a very nicely done fragrance that smells sweet, it smells modern, it smells quite aromatic. There's a bit of a green and fresh touch, and also it feels quite spicy thanks to a great cardamom note. And I've been really enjoying the way that Rayhaan Elixir smells. And now onto the question of how close Rayhaan Elixir feels to the original fragrance from Jean-Paul Gaultier. To be honest, this feels not like an exact clone of Le Male Elixir. This feels more like a twist, or more like a mashup of a few different Jean-Paul Gaultier fragrances. To my nose, this carries some of the spiciness of the original Le Male, thanks to the cardamom note and the mint note. Also carries a bit of that vanillic sweetness that the original Le Male has. Has a hint of tobacco, also thanks to the powderness of that tonka bean note. This also feels close to Le Male Le Parfum, and at the end of the day, it seems like Rayhaan have taken the DNA of the OG Le Male. They have added some of the DNA of Le Male Le Parfum, and also added some of the DNA of Le Male Elixir, and came up with the end result, which is called Rayhaan Elixir. lacks some of the sweetness of the original fragrance, lacks that thick sweetness from the honey note that the original has. This feels more like a vanillic take. Also lacks the strength of the tobacco note. To my nose, this has a tobacco note, but it feels way lighter compared to the original fragrance. And this also, to my nose, smells like a more spicier version of of Le Male Elixir. So it's not a direct clone, it's like a twist, like a heavy twist, like an inspiration, but this definitely carries the whole DNA of the the Le Male line, the mint, the cardamom, the vanillic sweetness, and in the end this actually smells quite close to Le Male Elixir, but again it's not super close and it doesn't feel like a straight up clone. When it comes to performance, Rayhaan Elixir has been a very decently performing scent. The original is an absolute beast. It lasts over 10 hours on my skin, 11-12 hours. Rayhaan Elixir is somewhere around about the 7 to 8 hour mark, so it's nowhere near as strong as Le Male Elixir, but still on its own is actually a decently performing scent. Price wise, this at least around here in Europe tends to cost around about the 30-35 euro mark, which is probably a quarter of the price of the original, so it's not a bad deal at all. And versatility wise, you can wear this one pretty much in the same scenarios as the original fragrance. It's a cold weather scent, it's a more of a nighttime scent, has a bit of a youthful edge to it because of the amount of sweetness, and can serve as a great date night or a night out fragrance. And at the end, a few final words about Rayhaan Elixir. This is a very interesting take on the Le Male Elixir scent profile. It doesn't feel like a straight up clone. This feels more like a twist, more like a mashup of all of the famous fragrances from the Le Male line, but at the same time the end result actually feels quite close to Le Male Elixir. But again, don't approach this one as being a straight up clone of Le Male Elixir. And I know people are going to ask about this one compared to Lattafa the Kingdom. I'll compare them in a full featured video at some point in the future, but I can definitely tell you that Lattafa the Kingdom actually feels closer to Le Male Elixir, although that one again still doesn't feel like a straight up clone. Rayhaan Elixir is, to my nose, sits a little bit further away from the original scent, but still can serve as a great and way less, way less expensive alternative to Le Male Elixir. All around, I've been really digging Rayhaan Elixir. And so guys, in today's video I reviewed one of the more hyped up recent releases from the brand of Rayhaan that's called Rayhaan Elixir. I hope that you found this video interesting or useful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.